One setting is complete. Well, now second setting we have to complete it. Yes, second setting is complete. Now let's say the points. Salam Habibi, how are you? I hope you are fine. It is me, Michaela Santa, and welcome to you, our channel. Accordance with thumbnail, I apologize. Accordance with titles, yes, today we are roasting the Israeli women soldiers at the points. Now here, my disclaimer is, I am the supporters of Israel in the topic of the Middle East. Hence, here I am roasting the feminism in Israeli army. Okay, and now let's get the points. In the topic to roast Israeli women soldiers, we contains clips. Here I am compulsory to roast Israeli women soldiers. Okay. Now here we could see the points. First of all, here and now. Okay. And now here is the points. Here is an women name is Shir. She is proud Israeli Defense Force Angels. Okay. Here her video clip is at the March 16, 2026. And what was she doing? She doing just dancing at the points. She was just dancing in almost 3 minutes 51 seconds. Okay. Now the total point is why here we can see the moments. Now why we support Israel Defense Force? We support Israel Defense Force because Israel Defense Force protect their sovereignty of Israel against the enemy countries like Iranian terrorists, Palestinian terrorists, Yemeni terrorists, and probably the Bangladeshi terrorists. And now, after the ceasefire between United States of America versus Iran, today's topic is about the Bangladeshi terrorists at the moment. But here, well, today's point is the Israeli women soldiers she is just dancing in almost 3 minutes 51 seconds. Okay. And now, how is she affecting on the sovereignty of Israel? Here I would mention at the points. Okay. Now let's talk about the moments. Here Israeli feminist soldiers plan to attack Bangladeshi terrorist Maulana Abu Toha Adnan. The same planning is from the Israeli misogynist Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Okay. Now here I am talking about the military points, about the military tanks. Well, here departure is Tel Aviv, Israel. Arrival is Dhaka, Bangladesh. Okay. Now here driving distance is 26,000 kilometers. Driving velocity is 52 kilometers per hour. Driving timing is 41 days 8 hours. Now it is the plan of Israeli feminist soldier Shir. Okay. Now let's take at the points. Israeli misogynist Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's plan. Israeli military tanks contains the velocity of 26,000 km per second. Here driving distance is 26,000 kilometers. Here driving timing would be 1 second. Okay. Now half of weight of Israeli tank is 10 to the power 5 kilograms. Okay. Now here is today's points that what what is the importance of Israeli tank with the velocity of 23,000 km per second. Here I would like a mention. Now here today we have shown the one Israeli feminist soldier in the shield. She contains the military tanks with the velocity of what about the ones velocity of 52 km per hour, where driving distance is 26,000 kilometers. Now here we can see the points. What is 26,000 divided by 52? That is 1,000 divided by 5. That means here driving timing would be 500 hours. That means we have mentioned 41 days, 8 hours. Well, now here is the point. Why we Israeli misogynist soldiers love military tanks with the velocity of 26,000 km per second? Because here in this point, when departure is Tel Aviv, Israel, the Tel Aviv, the capital city of Israel, and arrival is Dhaka, the capital city of Bangladesh, and the driving distance is 26,000 kilometers. When the driving velocity would be 26,000 kilometers per second, here driving timing would be 1 second. Hence, departure time would be morning 6 o'clock, April 18, 2026, and hence arrival time would be morning 6 o'clock, 1 second past, April 18, 2026. And now they would eliminate the Bangladeshi terrorists in 5 minutes. Hence, the departure from Dhaka, the capital city of Bangladesh, would be morning 6 o'clock, 5 minutes past, April 18, 2026, and arrival on Tel Aviv, the capital city of Israel, would be morning 6 o'clock, 5 minutes 1 second past at April 18, 2026, and that is the momentum at the point. Now here velocity is one of the elements of surprise attack. Now when our velocity would be 26,000 km per second with the driving distance of 26,000 kilometers, then here Bangladeshi terrorists would contain no clue to get any preparation times to escape from the attack of Israeli misogynist military tanks. But now, here we can see the points. Now let's check it. Our Israeli Defense Force Angels Health. Okay. Now here we can see these momentums. Well. Okay. Now here we can see these points. Driving timing is 41 days, 8 hours. Well, and here when departure time would be morning 6 o'clock, April 18, 2026, and here arrival time would be afternoon 2 o'clock, April 29, 2026. And here we can see the points. Now, who is today's Bangladeshi terrorist? That is Maulana Abu Toha, Adnan. Okay. Now here I can mention the points about. Now here is the moments. Adnan MC. Okay. Now let's check it. And here it is the moment at the points. Just 1 second times. I mean just for a few moments. Well, here is Maulana Abu Toha Adnan. She want to eliminate the Israeli sovereignty of Israel. Okay, and now here is the significant points at the. Well, here we can see the Saudi Arabia. Okay, just well, Abu Toha Adnan rejects Saudi Agita just because Saudi Arabia is supporting Israel against Iranian terrorists. Now here today's point is the moments. Here we can say Abu Toha Adnan is one of the Bangladeshi terrorists. Okay, and here well, and it is the momentums. But now when departure time is morning 6 o'clock, April 18, 2026. Arrival time is afternoon 2 o'clock, May 29, 2026. And now, here we can see what is the affection at the moment. Now here it is the affections moment at the points that Maulana Abu Toha Adnan's would get prepared in 41 days, 8 hours to eliminate Israeli feminist soldier Sheikh with military tanks, or perhaps in the times of 41 days, 8 hours preparations, Abu Toha Adnan is ready probably to eliminate Israeli Honorable Misogynist Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. And now it is the points. But now surprisingly, here what's going on the moments? Here our significant negative moments is that here our most beautiful women soldier Sheikh is just busy to dance in 3 minutes 51 seconds. Well, where Israel is under threat from Bangladeshi terrorist Maulana Abu Toha Adnan. And now, when Israeli women soldier Sheikh is ready to contest a dancing contest in 3 minutes 51 seconds, and she is prepared to dance in a 3 minute 51 seconds video. She is not ready to get a preparations against Bangladeshi terrorist Maulana Abu Toha Adnan. Hence, her planning is with the driving timing of 41 days, 8 hours with the driving distance of 26,000 kilometers. But now, on the other hand, what's going on Benjamin Netanyahu? Well, Benjamin Netanyahu is dedicated to eliminate the Bangladeshi terrorists, I mean every pro-Palestinian terrorist of the world. And probably Benjamin Netanyahu would be ready to eliminate Bangladeshi terrorist Maulana Abu Toha Adnan. Hence, here we can see the points when Israel contains a misogynist soldiers, the Israeli army would ready to eliminate pro-Palestinian Bangladeshi terrorists with the driving distance of 26,000 kilometers with the driving velocity of 26,000 kilometers per second. But now, here we can see the points. If Israel would contain a feminist soldiers like a Sheikh, here now it is difficult to defeat the Bangladeshi terrorist Maulana Abu Toha Adnan. Okay, let's talk about the points. We contain the velocity. Well, Israeli feminist soldier Sheikh contains military tank with the velocity of 52 km per hour. When Israeli misogynist Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu contains Israeli military tank with the velocity of 26,000 km per second. Where is 26,000 km per second and where is 52 km per hour? That is the significant point. Well, and now here is the difference between feminism versus misogyny in the velocity. Now let's talk about the travel time. Well, the departure is morning 6 o'clock, April 18, 2026, with the driving distance is 26,000 kilometers. Now, when Israeli feminist soldier she can travel 26,000 kilometers with the arrival time of afternoon 2 o'clock, May 29, 2026, Israeli misogynist military tank can arrive in morning 6 o'clock, 1 second past, April 18, 2026. Now, where is morning 6 o'clock, April 18, 2026 and where is afternoon 2 o'clock, May 29, 2026. That is the significant difference of the travel time. Because when Israeli misogynist soldiers, when Israeli misogynist tank can travel 26,000 kilometers in 1 second, Israeli feminist soldiers shield containing military tank can travel 26,000 kilometers in 41 days, 8 hours. And now it is the moment to see it that feminist soldiers. Now here we can see feminist soldiers is feminine than Israeli misogynist military tanks. And here we can see the points at the moment. Now here lieutenant colonels or majors is describing that how the feminism in Israeli army can contains a negative effect on here the performance of Israeli army to protect the sovereignty of Israel. But now the following feminist soldier she did not understand. She preparing a dance for 3 minutes 51 seconds. She is just dancing. And she is prepared in almost 4 hours to content a dancing video of 3 minutes 51 seconds. And now, here is the problem that she is not participating in the planning to eliminate pro-Palestinian Bangladeshi terrorist Maulana Abu Toha. Okay, now here we can see this momentum at the points. Okay, but now here we it is about the feminist soldiers momentums. Okay, now what about the F-16 fighter planes? Okay, now here we can see Israeli feminist soldier shield containing F-16 fighter planes. It can contains departure of Tel Aviv, Israel. Arrival is Dhaka, Bangladesh. Well, flying distance is 19,000 kilometers. Flying velocity is 95 km per hour. Flying timing is 16 days, 8 hours. Okay. And now let's check it. The Israeli misogynist Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu planned to attack Bangladeshi terrorist Maulana Abu Toha. And now here we can see Israeli misogynist F-16 fighter planes. Here departure is same Tel Aviv, the capital city of Israel. Arrival is same Dhaka, the capital city of Bangladesh. Here flying distance is 19,000 kilometers same, but what is the difference? The difference is flying velocity is to be 93,000 kilometer per second, where hence the flying timing is 1 second. Now, what flying velocity contains the difference, the flying timing. Here I would mention it. Okay. Now let's take it the points. Uh, Israeli misogynist F-16 fighter planes can depart from morning 6 o'clock, April 18, 2026, with the departure place of Tel Aviv, the capital city of Israel. And here arrival time would be morning 6 o'clock, 1 second past, April 18, 2026, with the arrival place to be Dhaka, the capital city of Bangladesh. But now, let's take it the moments when Israeli Air Force would contain feminist F-16 fighter planes. Here, flying velocity is 95 km per hour. Hence, the flying timing would be 16 days, 8 hours. Hence, the problem is when departure time would be morning 6 o'clock, April 18, 2026. Here, arrival time would be afternoon 2 o'clock, May 4, 2026. Okay. Now here we can see the points at the momentums. Well. Now here I want to show some my personal informations. Here my personal information is my birthday date of birth is May 5. But now here we can see this moment. Some feminist soldier Sheikh is planning to attack Bangladeshi terrorist Abu Toha. Hence, the departure time is morning 6 o'clock, April 18, 2026, and arrival time is afternoon 2 o'clock, the date that was 1 day earlier of my birthday. Okay, and now here we can see that is the momentum at the points. Well, Israeli feminist soldier shield containing F-16 fighter planes is providing 16 days, 8 hours of preparation time to the pro-Palestinian Bangladeshi terrorist Maulana Abu Toha Adnan. That Maulana Abu Toha Adnan can attack on Israeli feminist F-16 fighter planes, and probably Maulana Abu Toha Adnan would be ready to assassinate our honorable Israeli president, misogynist prime minister Benjamin Netanyahu, or probably here with the preparation of Maulana Abu Toha Adnan with 16 days, 8 hours, our honorable Israeli misogynist president Isaac Herzog is under danger again from Maulana Abu Toha Adnan. And now that is the moment at the points. But when we are talking about the points here, now this is the points that Israeli major or Israeli lieutenant or Israeli commander, Israeli majors or Israeli lieutenant colonels is explaining that how the feminist attitude of Sheikh is compromise the mission of Israeli Air Force against the Maulana Abu Toha Adnan, and that is where Maulana Abu Toha Adnan is pro-Palestinian Bangladeshi terrorist. And here we can see the points. But now here, unfortunately, when the explanation is to Israeli feminist soldier Sheikh, now let's check it. What's going on here? Now here the point is uh, Israeli feminist soldier Sheikh is busy to content a dancing video of 3 minutes 51 seconds. Okay. Just wait over. Okay. And now, here I would say the moment when a feminist soldier is exists in Israel, that is the compromisations of Israeli sovereignty against pro-Palestinian Bangladeshi terrorists. And now, that's the moment we could see our topic. The pro-Palestinian Bangladeshi terrorist is happy because Israeli Defense Force contains feminist soldiers like Sheikh. Okay? And now, here we can see this moment of just wait and watch. Well, here I am feeling illness because yesterday I came from Afghanistan to Saudi Arabia. Okay. And now let's check it the momentums. Here is the summarized points. This video features the repetitive musical track that centers the lyrics of El Disco El Sobe and become the dancing of the ballet, the party and dance halls. Okay. Now the disco points is El Disco El Sobe. She is dancing 3 minutes 51 seconds and she is practicing it in 4 hours. And she escaped the plans that is dedicated to eliminate Bangladeshi terrorist Maulana Abu Toha Adnans. Okay. Now here we can see the points. And now let's get that momentums at the what about feminist the submarine between feminism versus misogyny. I will tell you, but before that, here we can see the momentums. Well, let's compare. Let's say about the comparisons. Here we can Israeli misogynist F-16 fighter planes contains here velocity of 90,000 km per second, where Israeli feminist soldier shield containing F-16 fighter planes contains the velocity of 95 km per hour. Now, where is 90,000 km per second and where is 95 km per hour? That is the significant difference at the momentums we could see. And hence, here is the point. The feminism is dangerous to contain compromisations on the sovereignty of Israel against pro-Palestinian Bangladeshi terrorist Maulana Abu Toha Adnan. And now, that is the momentums. Okay. Now, Maulana Abu Toha Adnan mentions that here peoples are going to sword and horse era. What is sword and wars era? That is the ancient military era. Okay. But now, here Israeli feminist soldier Sheikh is trying to prove Maulana Abu Toha Adnan's military technology prediction to be right. And that is the problematic for us, the pro-Israeli, the pro-Israelis. And now, here we can see this moment. Here, let's check about the travel time. We discussed the velocity. Now, let's discuss the travel time. Here, F-16 fighter planes have to, F-16 fighter planes has to travel the flying distance of 19,000 kilometers. And now, departure time is morning 6 o'clock, April 18, 2026. Okay, now let's check at the points. Well, the arrival time of Israeli feminist soldier Sheikh F-16 fighter planes would be afternoon 2 o'clock, May 4, 2026, the day before, one day earlier of my birthday. When Israeli misogynist F-16 fighter planes arrival time would be morning 6 o'clock, 1 second past, here April 18, 2026. That is today's live stream date. Okay. Now where is afternoon 2 o'clock, May 4, 2026 as the arrival time, and where is morning 6 o'clock, 1 second past, April 18, 2026 as an arrival time. Here is the significant points. Now, for F-16 fighter planes with the velocity, here velocity to be 19,000 km per second is the one of the fractions of the surprise element to contain a surprise attack on pro-Palestinian Bangladeshi terrorist Maulana Abu Toha Adnan. But now, when the flying distance is 19,000 kilometers, and here 19,000 kilometers, and here flying velocity would be 95 kilometers per hour. That means it would not be the surprise attacks. Well, these attacks would be predicted by Maulana Abu Toha Adnan. And in these points, Maulana Abu Toha Adnan can get preparations against Israeli feminist soldier shield containing F-16 fighter planes, and probably against Israeli Honorable Misogynist Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Honorable Misogynist President Isaac Herzog. And now that is the points that why misogyny is necessary in Israeli military to protect the sovereignty of Israel. Now here is the points for me, that what is the definition of feminism. Definition of feminism is, well, the gender to take a responsibility to attack Maulana Bangladeshi terrorist Maulana Abu Toha Adnan, that can contain the F-16 fighter planes with the flying distance of 95 km per hour, where the flying distance would be 90,000 kilometers. Okay, but on the other hand, what is the definitions of misogyny? Well, the definitions of misogyny is here 19,000 kilometers. When flying distance is 19,000 kilometers, and the mission is to eliminate Bangladeshi terrorist Maulana Abu Toha Adnan. Here, misogyny is the responsibility goes to a gender that can contain F-16 fighter planes with the velocity of 19,000 km per second. And now here we can see the points. Well, every Israeli soldier contains responsibility that how my Israeli F-16 fighter planes can contain 90,000 km per second, 20,000 km per second, 21,000 km per second. That is the topic of the research for Israeli soldiers to protect the sovereignty of Israel. But now, here Israeli feminist soldier Sheikh is busy to content a dancing video with the duration of 3 minutes 51 seconds. Hence, Israeli feminist soldier Sheikh is prepared in 4 hours to take a dancing video of 3 minutes 51 seconds. Okay. Now what is the points about the moments? Here the song is El Disco El Pelo, El Obe. And that is the moments. Now when Israeli feminist soldier is busy to dance like a TikToker, then in the next years, here it is a dangerous to bring the compromisations on the sovereignty of Israel. Okay. And now here is my going to the points at notified. Okay. Now here we can see Israeli feminist soldiers. Shield contains military submarines. Here departure is Haifa, the city of Israel. Arrival is Chittagong, the city of Bangladesh. Naval distance is 10,000 kilometers. Naval velocity is 100 kilometers per hour. Here naval timing is 8 days 4 hours. Hence departure time is morning 6 o'clock, April 18, 2026. Here arrival time would be morning 10 o'clock, April 26, 2026. But now, if Israeli submarines would be misogynist, here naval distance is 10,000 kilometers. But the naval velocity would be 10,000 kilometers per second. Naval timing would be 1 second. Here where would is Suez Canal? Departure time would be morning 6 o'clock, April 18, 2026, and arrival time would be morning 6 o'clock, 1 second past, April 18, 2026. And now, here is the momentums at the points. Now, when about topic of the Israeli submarines, and it is the topic for the research. It is the topic of research for Israeli soldiers that how they would develop the velocity of Israeli naval submarines. Well, now current is 10,000 kilometers. And how to improve submarines into the velocity of 20,000 kilometers per second. But now the problem is going on the points. Here Israeli feminist soldiers, she is busy to contest a dance in 4 hours to contest the dancing video of 3 minutes 51 seconds. And now that can contest the compromisations of the sovereignty of Israel under the attack of pro-Palestinian Bangladeshi terrorists. And now here we can see the momentums. Okay, and now here we can see the in the points of submarines, Israeli feminist naval submarine can provide 8-day, 4 hours preparation time to Bangladeshi terrorist Maulana Abu Toha to contest the attack on Israeli feminist submarines, or probably Israeli misogynist Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, and probably Israeli misogynist President Isaac Herzog. And now, here are the significant dangerous momentums. But now, I think Israeli feminist soldiers is not serious that how is to plan to protect the sovereignty of Israel from the Bangladeshi terrorist Maulana Abu Toha. Okay, and here we can see here is the comparisons. Well, the velocity is Israeli misogynist submarine controls the velocity of 10,000 km per second, and Israeli feminist submarine controls the velocity of 100 km per hour. Okay, now where naval distance is 10,000 kilometers, and the departure time is morning 6 o'clock. April 18, 2026. Here now let's check it. Israeli misogynist submarine can arrive on morning 6 o'clock 1 second past April 18, 2026. On the other hand, Israeli feminist submarine can arrive on morning 10 o'clock April 26, 2026. And now where is morning 6 o'clock 1 second past April 18, 2026 as arrival time, and where is arrival time as morning 10 o'clock April 26, 2026. That is the significant points that as the momentums here we can, that is the significant difference between misogyny versus feminism as the travel terms. Okay. Now here today's concept is about kinetic powers. Okay. Now here let's check it the momentums. Let's check about kinetic powers. Okay, now here I would ready for the kinetic powers at the moments. Okay. Now here we can see these points. Now we know what is the equations of kinetic powers. Equation of kinetic power is half of weight of Israeli military tanks. Now we are backing to military tanks. Okay, as a kinetic powers. Half of weight kinetic power, equation of kinetic power of Israeli military tank is half of weight of Israeli military tanks multiplied by distance square divided by travel time cube. And now when we are calculating as an Israeli feminist soldier sheet containing military tanks containing kinetic powers as the calculations. Here the calculations is here half of weight of Israeli tank is 10 to the power 5 kilograms, and here driving distance is 26,000 kilometers. What is 26,000 kilometers? That is 26 multiplied by 10 to the power 6 meters. And what is driving distance square? That is 26 square multiplied by 10 to the power 6 square meter square. Okay. Now here we can see the driving timing is almost 41 days, 8 hours. Okay. What is that? That is almost 18 multiplied by 10 to the power 5 seconds. Hence, the driving timing cube is 18 cube multiplied by 10 to the power 5 cube. Now, here is the points. That is the momentums as we could see. Now, let's check the calculations at the momentums. When the calculations we could see the points that became 676 multiplied by 10 square enter divided by bracket of 27 multiplied by 226 because 10 to the power 6 square divided by 10 to the power 5 cube is almost 1 divided by 10 cube. And what is 10 to the power 5 divided by 10 cube? That is 10 square. Okay. Now here we can see what is 18 cube. That is 3 cube multiplied by 6 cube. What is 3 cube? That is 27. What is 6 cube? That is 216. And here that is the moments 676 multiplied by 10 square divided by bracket of 27 multiplied by 216 bracket close. Hence the answer is 11.6 watts. Okay. And now let's check at the moments. What is the kinetic force of Israeli misogynist military tanks? Here calculation, here we can see the moments. Okay. Now here we could see driving distance is 26,000 kilometers and Israeli misogynist military tank velocity is 26,000, driving velocity is 26,000 kilometers per second. Hence, the driving timing would be 1 second. And in this calculations, here observations we could see driving timing square equal to driving timing cube equal to driving timing to the power 7 equal to driving timing to the power 666 because 1 square equal to 1 cube equal to 1 to the power 7 equal to 1 to the power 666 is always 1 and driving timing is 1 second. Hence, the equations of Israeli misogynist tank kinetic military tank kinetic power becomes half of weight of Israeli misogynist military tank multiplied by distance square, and hence the calculations became 10 to the power 5 multiplied by 26 square multiplied by 10 to the power 6 square. Now here we can see what is 10 to the power 6 square, that is 10 to the power 12. What is 10 to the power 12 multiplied by 10 to the power 5, that is 10 to the power 17. And now what is 26 square, that is 676. That means here kinetic power is 676 multiplied by 10 to the power 17. That means 67.6 trillion megawatts. Now here we can see 67.6 trillion megawatt is required to eliminate Bangladeshi terrorist Maulana Abu Toha Adnan. Okay. Now here comparison the points. Israeli misogynist military tank contains the kinetic power of 67.6 trillion megawatts. Where Israeli feminist military tanks contains the kinetic power of 11.6 watts. Where is 67.6 trillion megawatts and where is 11.6 watts? That is the significant surprising moments as we could see. Because when your Israeli military tank can contain the kinetic power of 67.6 trillion megawatts, hence here you can drive your Israeli misogynist military tank can drive 26,000 kilometers in 1 second. And here the enemy to be Bangladeshi terrorist Maulana Abu Toha Adnan would contain no clue to get any preparation time to escape from Israeli military tanks. But now, when your Israeli feminist military tank would contain the kinetic powers of 11.6 watts, here we can see Israeli feminist military tank can drive 26,000 kilometers in 41 days 8 hours, and 41 days 8 hours is the best preparation time for Bangladeshi terrorist Maulana Abu Toha Adnan to assassinate probably the Honorable Israeli Prime Minister, Misogynist Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. And now, here we can see this moment, and that is the probable points that how is going the days. And the point is very significant moments, and that is necessary to eliminate the enemy. That is the simple, the necessary points. Okay. And now, Israeli soldiers is dedicated to research that how can my military tank be containing the kinetic power of 67.6 trillion megawatts. But now, let's check it. What is the reality moments? And here, reality moments is just like a surprising points. Okay. Now here we can see. Here is the girl. Okay. The girl is dancing to call herself Israel Defense Force Angels. She is just like a dancing. Okay. Now she is careless that she did not design her military tanks to contain the kinetic power to be 67.6 trillion megawatts. Moreover, the TikToker soldiers of Israel, she is ready to design her feminist military tank with the kinetic powers of 11.6 watts. Okay. Now here it is the momentums about kinetic powers. Okay. Now let's check it. What about Israeli feminist soldiers can F-16 fighter planes? Here, kinetic power is 98.84 watts. Okay. And now, how can we calculate it? Well, we know that kinetic equation of kinetic powers. Here, calculation is 10 to the power 5 multiplied by 19 square multiplied by 10 to the power 6 square divided by here 72 cube multiplied by 10 to the power 4 cube. Okay. I think here just calculations. Okay. Well. Just wait and watch. Okay. Here we can see these points. Now, what is 19 squares? That is 361. And what is 72 cube? That is 8 multiplied by 45,656. Okay. Now let's see. What is 10 to the power 6 square divided by 10 to the power 4 cube? That is 1. And hence we condense the calculators at the moments. Here 361 multiplied by 10 to the power 5 divided by bracket of 8 multiplied by 45,656. Hence the answer is the surprising, that is to be 98.84 watts. Okay. And now it is the Israeli feminist soldier shield containing F-16 fighter planes. Now let's check it the moments about Israeli misogynist soldiers. Israeli misogynist F-16 fighter planes. And here, now let's check it. What about the points? The point is kinetic power to be here 361 trillion megawatts. And now, here is the points that how can I calculate it. Just wait for 2 minutes. Well, here the moments for 2 minutes is, well, now let's check the calculations. The calculation is half of weight of F-16 fighter planes is 10 to the power 5 kilograms. It does not matter if it would be Israeli feminist F-16 fighter planes or Israeli misogynist F-16 fighter planes. Okay, and now here it is the points of precise attacks at the moment. And now here we could find that is the significance. The calculation is 10 to the power 5 multiplied by 19 square multiplied by 10 to the power 6 square. Now, what is 10 to the power 6 square? That is 10 to the power 12. Well, what is 10 to the power 12 multiplied by 10 to the power 5? That is 10 to the power 17. Hence, the answer of kinetic power is 361 multiplied by 10 to the power 17 watts. That means 36.1 trillion megawatts. Okay. And now, here is the significant points at the momentums. Well, Israeli feminist F-16 fighter planes contains the kinetic powers of 98.84 watts, while Israeli misogynist F-16 fighter planes contains the kinetic power to be 36.1 trillion megawatts. Now here we can see the points. When we would be the Israeli military soldiers of Israeli Air Force, now we would dedicate that our F-16 fighter planes would contain the kinetic powers of 36.1 trillion megawatt with the flying distance of 19,000 kilometers. And now here we can see the moments. But the following feminist soldier, she is trying that her Israeli feminist F-16 fighter planes would contain the kinetic powers of 98.84 watts as with the flying distance of 99,000 kilometers. Now here we can see. Let's comparison the points. When the flying distance is 99,000 kilometers, here Israeli feminist F-16 fighter planes kinetic power is 98.84 watts, and Israeli misogynist F-16 fighter planes kinetic power is 36.1 trillion megawatts. Where is 36.1 trillion megawatts and where is 98.84 watts? That is the significant problematics that here I have explained that how feminism in Israeli military can compromise the sovereignty of Israel against pro-Palestinian Bangladeshi terrorist Maulana Abu Toha Adnan. Okay. But in the lecture of the explanation of feminism, here Israeli feminist soldier she bunk the class and get the prepare of the TikTok video of 3 minutes 51 seconds as dancing video, and she prepared for dancing in 4 hours to continue that TikTok dancing video of 3 minutes 51 seconds. And now here we can here is the notification of the points that she is not ready to design her F-16 fighter planes with the high kinetic powers. And now here are the points we could see as a kinetic powers. Feminism on Israeli army is necessary for the enemy of Israel, particularly Bangladeshi terrorist Maulana Abu Toha Adnan, who is ready to eliminate the sovereignty of Israel. Okay? And now Here we can see this momentums. Okay, now let's check it. Here is the points at the momentums. At the last point is the kinetic powers of submarines. Here, naval departure is Haifa, the city of Israel, and naval arrival is Chittagong, the city of Bangladesh. Okay, naval distance is 10,000 kilometers. And now let's check it the points. Well, when Israeli naval submarine it becomes the feminist naval submarines, hence the velocity would be 100 km per hour. Naval timing would be 8 days 4 hours. That is the 36 multiplied by 10 to the power 4 seconds. Okay. Now let's check it. What about the momentums of kinetic powers? Okay, kinetic powers calculations is 17 multiplied by 10 to the power 6 multiplied by 10 to the power 7 square divided by bracket of 36 cube multiplied by 10 to the power 4 cube. Okay, now here we can see the half of weight of Israeli naval submarine is 17 multiplied by 10 to the power 6 kilograms. Okay, and now let's check the moments. Here let's check the calculations. What is 10 to the power 7 square? That is 10 to the power 14. And what is 10 to the power 14 multiplied by 17 multiplied by 10 to the power 6? That is 17 multiplied by 10 to the power 20. Okay. Now what is 10 to the power 4 cube? That is 10 to the power 12. Now let's check it. 10 to the power 20 multiplied by 10 1 divided by 10 to the power 12 is 10 to the power 8. Okay. And hence here what is 36 cube? That is 45,656. Hence the calculation is 17 multiplied by 10 to the power 8 divided by 45,656. That is here 37,234.98 watts. At the round figure is 38 kilowatts. But now let's check at the moments. What if we got an Israeli misogynist naval military submarines? Here naval distance is 10,000 kilometers. Naval velocity is 10,000 kilometers per second. Hence naval timing is 1 second. Now here calculation we could see that as the moments 17 multiplied by 10 to the power 6 multiplied by 10 to the power 7 square. That is almost 17 multiplied by 10 to the power 20. Now what is the momentums? Here the result of kinetic power of Israeli misogynist naval military submarine is kinetic power to be 1.7 quadrillion megawatts. Okay. And now let's take the points comparisons. Israeli feminist well, here we can see the ones Israeli feminist naval submarine contains the kinetic powers of 38 kilowatt. I mean 38,000 watts. Israeli misogynist naval military submarine containing the kinetic power of 1.7 quadrillion megawatts. Now where is 1.7 quadrillion megawatts and where is here where is 38,000 watts? That is the significant difference, and that is the surprise point that how we can say the misogyny is necessary to protect the sovereignty of Israel. I mean naval sovereignty of Israel from Bangladeshi terrorist Maulana Abu Toha Adnan. But here let's to get the points. Surprisingly, A person named Sheikh, the feminist Israeli soldiers, bunked the lecture of misogyny to be necessary for Israeli naval sovereignty. Hence, she is busy to contest 3 minute 51-second dancing video, and hence she practiced the dance in 4 hours, or or we can say it would be 12 hours. And now here we can see this momentums at the points. She is compromising the sovereignty of Israel under the hand of Bangladeshi terrorist Maulana Abu Toha Adnan. But she is not ready for the moments, ready for checking the reality. Okay, and now let's check at the moments at the surprisingly points. Okay, now let's back to the military tanks. Israeli feminist military tanks fuel system is petrol, when the driving distance is 26,000 kilometers and the driving velocity is 52 km per hour. Hence, the fuel volume is 260,803 liters of petrols. Okay, but now if we can contest the Israeli misogynist military tank with the driving distance of 26,000 kilometers, then what would be going on? Here, misogynist tank fuel is artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. Here, fuel volume would be like here 659 multiplied by 10 to the power negative 654 kilograms of artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. Okay, now here we can see that is the fuel points at the moment. Okay, now let's check it the points. And now when we are talking about Israeli feminist F-16 fighter planes, here now let's check it. Israeli feminist F-16 fighter planes flying distance is 19,000 kilometers. Hence, the fuel system would be petrols with the velocity of to be 95 km per hour. Here, fuel volume is 870,467 liters of petrols. But now, here we can see when we contents an Israeli misogynist F-16 fighter planes. Here, that's the moment we could notify misogynist tank fuel system to be artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. Now let's contest the fuel volumes, that is 3.52 multiplied by 10 to the power negative 654 kilograms of artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. Okay, and now here is the points to be noted points. Okay, what is the specific heat of artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius, that is 15,408 joule per kilogram per Kelvin. And temperature I have mentioned But now, let's talk about the feminist military vehicles. And here, fuel system is always petrol. What is the necessary of fuel? The necessary of fuel is okay. What is the specific heat of fuel? That is 2 joule per kilogram per Kelvin, and the highest temperature difference is 50 degrees Celsius. Now here calculations is 2 multiplied by 50 is always 100. Okay. And here that is the momentum at the points. Now our honorable Israeli feminist soldier she is busy to contest a dancing video of 3 minutes 51 seconds with the practice sing dance of 4 hours. And now here is the significant moments and the notification is the point to be noted, my lord. Here we could see the moments here. 36 their fuel system, feminist military vehicle fuel system is petrol. Now you could notice that Israeli feminist soldier shield containing military tank fuel system is petrol. Israeli feminist soldier shield containing F-16 fighter plane fuel system is petrol. And now here is the momentum at the points. Why we had petrol as a fuel system? Because petrol as a fuel system can compromise the sovereignty of Israel under the hand of Bangladeshi terrorist Maulana Abu Toha. But now, when we misogynist Israeli F-16 fighter planes contains the fuel system, that should be artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius. And now, here the final momentums, as we could see, that Israeli misogynist F-16 fighter planes is the easy to get a victory against Bangladeshi terrorist Maulana Abu Toha. Because here now here fuel cost is almost 10 United States cent. But now let's check at the moments. Here when we are talking about Israeli feminist F-16 fighter planes, here fuel system is 870,467 liters of petrol, and we know the petrol cost is 2 United States dollars per liter. Okay, and now here that is the significant points. I think here who is she? Who is she? Okay. Now here we can see this momentums at the points. 870,467 multiplied by 2, and here cost is what? 1,740,934 United States dollars is necessary for the momentums as expenditure of fuel in the missions. Well, now here we can see the Israeli misogynist F-16 fighter planes contains economical victory against Bangladeshi terrorist Maulana Abu Toha, where Israeli feminist F-16 fighter planes can be defeated by Maulana economical defeated by Maulana Abu Toha. And now here we can see the points. Now here is my questions that what if you spend 1.8 million United States dollars as a fuel expenditure, but still you have to fly 19,000 kilometers in 16 days, 8 hours. Now here you waste 1.8 million United States dollars, but you could not contest the surprise element. But on the other hand, an Israeli misogynist F-16 fighter planes contest air 10-second United States, 10 United States cent for fuel to be artificial solar arc reactor with the temperature of 666 multiplied by 10 to the power 666 degrees Celsius, and now that can contest the velocity of 90,000 kilometer per second. 90,000 kilometer per second. And now here we can see the points. That is the best surprise element to attack on Bangladeshi terrorist Abu Toha to protect the air sovereignty of Israel. And now that is the momentum at the points. Well, air surprise element is necessary for Israeli sovereignty, air sovereignty. And now misogyny is necessary to contest the research about surprise element to protect the air sovereignty of Israel. But our honorable feminist soldier Sheikh is bunking the class of the lecture of the misogyny, and hence now she is the probable threat for the Israeli sovereignty because of the compromisation on the sovereignty of Israel under Bangladeshi terrorist Maulana Abu Toha. Okay, and now in one short statement we could see here and one Israeli feminist soldier, Sheikh, is as a self-claimed Israeli Defense Force angels, is now a threat for the sovereignty of Israel. But irony is that she is calling herself as an angel. Now my point is, who is the angel that can compromise her own national sovereignty? And that is my question as the points, and I could not find the answers, and I am trying to find the answer. Okay, now here is the one last stream. Now next last stream is with the another Israeli Defense Force angels. Now see you then. God bless. Love you.